Okay, I'm recording now.
All right, cool.
So, finally, recording time. Are you ready?
Recording time. Yeah, let's do it.
We're doing it. This is it.
This is the podcast.
We are in.
Do you
the
think if we
podcast.
just left a recording going and let it go, like just chatted for 2 hours, that people would believe that that just was the podcast? Like, can we
That's
just
what
not
we do.
reference the fact that we are doing a podcast, or like be self-aware at all and just be chatting?
That's what we do.
Ideally, we should.
Ideally, we should. I don't think we ever have or will, but I'm wondering how close to fly on the wall can we get?
Well, Dan, I hate to tell you, but you're off to an awful start if that's your goal.
Yeah, it's true.
I would agree.
And also, we didn't clap
Because
in,
within
so
the
no one's
first
not gonna use
minute,
any of this.
You've extensively referenced the fact that you don't want to reference the thing that you've only referenced so far.
Correct.
You guys want to know what I did yesterday?
I'd love
Did you
to.
just clap us in?
Oh yeah.
Ah, fuck. I did that today. I already did that, listeners. All right, 3, 2, 1.
What did you do today? Or
I
yesterday?
went. It wasn't today. I went today. I clapped this in. Yesterday, I went to the drive-in movie theater.
Ooh, I do love a good drive-in movie theater.
Theater. Yeah, I went to the theater, and you know what? It was a good time.
I'm glad.
Only for the aesthetics of a drive-in.
Less glad.
The movies, because they usually show two, awful, god awful.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, just abysmal. Started off real strong. With the new Disney movie Jungle Cruise. Jungle Cruise, everybody.
I'm so interested in Jungle Cruise because there's not a single part of me that thinks it's a good idea.
Oh, of course not. I would never have seen it had I not been invited to the drive-in movies by someone that was not me. And I gotta say, if I never think about the movie again, it might be soon enough. There was not a single redeeming factor to it. I can only list off negatives. The only somewhat likable thing in the movie was the idea behind one of the groups of villains. That's right. In this Disney movie about the ride that was like problematic because of its depiction of native individuals in South America,
Mhm.
there's two groups of villains.
How
And
many of
double
them are
crossing
native
and,
groups?
And you'll never guess who one group of the villains is. I'm gonna spoil this movie. If you care, don't. It's not worth it. It's bad. Guess who one group of the villains was.
I'm afraid to guess.
Take a guess at who you see as the
Gonna
villain
guess
in
by
every
context
adventure movie.
clues that it's the natives.
I'm gonna guess.
Capital N natives.
No,
No?
who is the villain in every adventure
white
movie?
man.
I'm sorry. A British man with a
Mhm.
mustache,
Nope.
or a German man with a mustache. who's
And you
hunting.
got it. It's the Germans. It's the Germans, everybody.
Big game hunter.
So the problem was that in the movie, the British people, the British white people, wanted to go through the Amazon and take a magical like MacGuffin item that cures all illnesses to help
jungle-
cure
Good magical
illnesses.
MacGuffin.
a jungle cruise, if you will.
A jungle cruise, if you will. And then whereas the Germans wanted to come through and take the leaves to cure illnesses,
The bastards.
but only for Germany.
Every now and
So it
then
was
I think
evil
about the fact
because-
that, like, we really haven't gotten past the all Germans are actually Nazis era of thinking.
Actually, it was World War I Germans because they were desperate to do Nazis, but really couldn't get away with that in that movie.
That's rough. That's
that's-
not that low. I don't feel bad for them.
Yeah, it sucked.
Get better content.
It was just awful. Just the worst movie I've seen in a long time. There was really no part of it that I was like, this is cinema.
No, this is cinema pod
Um,
racing.
Yeah. You guys
I
like
do love
pod
some
racing?
Cinepod racing.
Cinepod racing is my
I'm more
favorite
into
Star Wars game.
cephalopod racing.
Ooh, I do love me some good old fashioned cephalopod racing.
You see the octopus just pull ahead.
Looks-
Anyway, the movie just was really bad. The only somewhat likable character was a poorly done CGI cat.
I'm
Nice.
sorry?
I also am a fan of that character.
The only likable character was the poorly done CGI. It was a jaguar, not just like a house cat, but it was like a pet jaguar, and it was the only cool
I'm
character.
sorry. That makes it so much better.
And it was just a bad CGI.
That's so sad.
It's one of those movies
I-
where they do the perfect example of the bury your gays trope without actually killing the character, which
my
is
gosh.
in one scene for about 10 seconds, they have a character reference one time and never speak of it again that they're homosexual. And then they never bring it up again. It doesn't make any impact on the movie, has no result in the story, and it's about a 15-second scene that they could easily cut for international releases.
You know, I heard that the actor who was in that scene was quite pleased with the representation he brought to that. He
I
specifically said he
don't
was
think it
very
was a-
proud of himself for it.
I don't think it's awful representation. I think the scene itself is pretty good, but you can tell it's a Disney thing because they're like, yeah, we have an openly gay character. And you're like, oh, that's great. And they're like, he's only mentions it once in one scene that could be easily cut out because it has no relevant plot information, and that way we can release it internationally.
Yeah, I was definitely going to ask. I'm like, well, I mean, on some level, right? Like, okay, being gay and having no impact on that having no impact on the plot isn't in and of itself a bad thing. But I totally get what you're saying now with like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it was the Disney. It's the Disney. You can be gay only if we let you be gay for
You can be
for
gay
this market.
for
You can
10
be gay-
seconds
you can
until
have
we
a-
decide to cut it.
You can have a little gay as a treat.
Yeah, and that's exactly how it felt because it was just like, oh, this scene's getting cut.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, the scene
And
itself
then
is
it
pretty good,
was.
and
Then it
Dwayne
was.
Johnson's there.
That makes me sad.
you'll never
I
guess.
feel like Dwayne. I really enjoy Dwayne the Rock Johnson generally, and it makes me so sad to know that he's just phoned it in. He's done.
You will never guess who he is playing.
Is he playing Rugged Adventure Man in a little stupid looking hat?
A little bit. This is a
man.
bit of a spoiler, so again, if you care about the movie Jungle
Oh, man.
Cruise, which you
So
shouldn't,
excited.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson plays a Spanish conquistador.
What?
I'm sorry.
Wait,
Yeah, no, they took a he plays a Spanish conquistador.
he's like a conquistador for sure.
Yep,
Why?
born and bred.
But
Yep,
But why?
but he's not.
yep, yeah.
Why?
Nah, he plays a conquistador.
How is that good? I mean,
Whose idea
obviously
was
you have made it very clear that it is not.
No, it sucks. Well, because he plays a conquistador that's been cursed to be trapped on the Amazon River for all eternity.
That's much worse.
that has
Yeah.
real bad vibes.
Oh, it's awful. Why would you take Dwayne the Rock Johnson and then be like, you're playing, our two leads are, man who is gay but that will never be referenced outside of scenes that can be cut. Woman whose defining trait is that she wears pants. I'm not kidding.
Holy shit, she wears pants.
And Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Let's make Dwayne a Spanish man from, like one of the most racist eras. Make him one of those.
Good lord.
Yeah, yikes for me, dog.
But no, he had a heart. He didn't want to slaughter the natives when all of his friends killed all the natives, and he watched.
I'm sorry.
So he was a hero.
What?
Yeah, so
I
basically
am
there's this like
begging you to
super
tell me
special
that that's not
artifact.
Really?
No,
what
the whole
happened.
movie is basically like, hey, we took this ancient arrowhead. Also, at one point, Dwayne The Rock Johnson is playing a scam artist, and they get the native people of the Amazon to get in on his scam. So at first, they present themselves as like cannibals to scare the English people, and it turns out they're not cannibals. They're just participating in a scam for money. So they're not eating people. They're just liars, and they're in on a scam on tourists. It's just
Oh.
bad. And there's also a scene where like there's just a lot of like, it just sucks. And like the main the lead woman is just like, her defining trait, and people reference this constantly, is that she wears pants. In 1916, they're like, a woman wearing pants, trousers on a woman, no way. That's said about 70 times. In fact, the nickname that her character is given is Pants.
Her nickname is Pants.
Yes.
Jackson,
just
I'm
sucks.
begging you to be like lying to me right now.
No,
Say psych right
it's
now.
The movie's just this bad. I can't even say psych. They just did this. They were like, this is the movie.
Jackson, the
I
only thing I
just-
want from you right now is to say psych, and you're just not
I
doing
can't
it.
say psych.
Why do you hate
I
me?
can't say psych. I can't say psych because it's real.
I don't like being alive. That's how I feel about this.
I don't know if I'd go that far. It's just a pretty bad movie.
I don't like being alive in the world this movie exists.
Yeah, I can't, like, it just sucks because I can't give it any kind of like positive anything. Like, there's nothing for me to say that isn't just like, this movie's really bad. One thing I do think is cool is one of the groups of villains besides the World War I Germans is the conquistadors, because they're, conquistadors, and everyone can agree that sucks. Don't do that. don't.
Yeah, no one likes
conquist.
conquistadors.
Thou shalt
Yeah.
not conquist.
Yeah, it's literally right there. It's one
in
of
the
the
Bible.
golden rules.
The
I'm pretty
Bible,
sure.
maybe you've heard of it.
Please don't conquist. So the conquistadors are bad guys, and what happens is like they are trapped for like 300 years. They're like turned to stone by Dwayne Johnson, and they become like melded with the jungle because they were seeking to destroy the land. The jungle cursed them and stopped them from attacking the natural resources. Which great idea, but then the movie takes place in 1916 when all the natural resources are just being fucked. So I don't really know why the jungle chose to like screw over like 3 Spanish dudes, but just let the rest of the river just get completely run aground. But anyway, apparently they get cursed by like a native, of course, cast a powerful curse on them that traps them in the jungle forever. And also everyone's looking for these magical flowers instead of being like, yo, how the fuck did this guy curse them to live forever? They don't ever look into that. They just kind of let that go.
Oh, thank goodness.
But then they're trapped for like 300 years, and the jungle just like ravages them apparently, and like changes their bodies and stuff. So they come out, and like the conquistadors' designs are probably the best thing in the movie, where like they are these like ancient, kind of like somewhat rotted, like humans, but they're still very conscious, and they're still like obviously like tormented, but like they're fused with the environment. So there's one of them that's like has like vines coming all over him, and he can like control the jungle's vines and stuff to like wrap people up. Doesn't really make much sense, but you know. Then there's a guy who's like can shoot out snakes and is like covered in snakes, and then there's some guy who's made of honey and it has bees everywhere.
Okay, so let me double check something here real quick. The conquistadors were here, being bad men ruining everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And Dwayne is just like, I don't like this at all. So Dwayne made them immortal and part of the forest, so they could now use the forest to destroy everything.
No, they were made immortal by the curse of a native that they slaughtered.
Okay. But
and then Dwayne traps them in a chasm for hundreds of years. Well, he's just hanging out doing river cruises.
And why is he doing river cruises?
Fun.
Seems like a good idea at the time.
River cruise for fun and profit?
Yeah, he just thought it might be a good idea. So just doing a river cruise with the lads. Yeah. Well, he has to do the river cruise technically because he can't leave sight of the river. Is part of the curse.
Oh.
So like
his
it's
punishment is
kind of like, well, you know,
to riverboat.
Yeah, his eternal punishment is getting to be on the Amazon River forever. Like one of like the most like naturally, you know, beautiful places on earth when you're immortal, especially because like nothing can kill you. You know, you get eaten by piranhas and you just regrow. So like, yeah, do whatever you want. Doesn't matter if you get eaten by a fish. You'll come back in a couple seconds. Kinda. They more like just attack him and then let him go for some reason. It doesn't really make much sense. Also, the woman who wears pants doesn't know how to swim. But then in an emotional moment when they need to, she has to like swim down to the bottom of the lake to pull like a lever. So like her first time ever swimming is in like an incredibly high stakes scenario where she has to hold her breath for a long period of time.
Was that
That's how they train
your
Olympians.
first swimming experience?
It wasn't my first swimming experience. I think I was in a pool.
Yeah, my first swimming
moral of the story
was
is
incredibly
don't watch
high
Disney's
stakes.
Jungle Cruise. It's really bad. If for whatever reason you have Disney Plus, it's free to watch. So like if you really want to see how bad it is, I suppose if you've already paid for the service, might as well check it out. But it's bad. It's just bad.
I mean, I'm not surprised, right? Like every Disney original that is not directly connected to like Marvel has kind of flopped, in my opinion. It's just not been that great. And the Marvel movies, you know, that's one of those like, you know, everyone has their own opinion on them, but I don't mind them, right? Like I don't mind the Marvel movies. I just don't much care for them. You know,
they're infinitely more competent than Jungle Cruise.
Mm-hmm. And
it actually might be one of the worst. It might be, and I was thinking about this yesterday. As I was watching, I was like, this might be the worst movie I've ever watched. Just because it's so tone deaf. It's literally based on like the racist Disneyland ride.
Yeah, that's the thing that keeps throwing me is that like somebody made the choice to, like there was so many layers of executives that signed off on this thinking, no, this is what the people want.
Well, you know
like
what happened?
They
had all the controversy surrounding the ride where everyone's like, I can't believe that they would do this and they would do that. And they're like, yo, everyone's talking about the ride. Let's make a movie.
Real talk, that might actually have been what happened.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's not how we got the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, but it's how we got the Pirates of the Caribbean, you know?
They were like, it worked for
like,
that.
The problem also is that like The Rock's dialogue is very much designed to feel as if you've ever been to like Disney or any theme park where you're on like a tour, like a boat tour kind of ride, or like
Oh
you ever been in like one of those rides where there's like you have like a captain who's telling you stories and stuff. The dialogue feels like it's written to like mimic that, which is a good idea, but it sucks ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it definitely comes through it as such.
That's rough. I would love to talk to the people that decided on this movie. You know?
I wouldn't. And the fact that also like they literally take Dwayne Johnson and they're like, "Yeah, you are a Spanish conquistador." Why?
And then Dwayne said, "Yeah."
Yeah. And it's like, oh, it's a plot twist. You probably didn't expect that. Like,
excited about it. And
they kind of like, well, they also at the end, like, because the role, I can imagine he had fun with it because there's a lot of like dad jokes and like dumb stuff and like swinging and jokes, but it's also a lot of like subversive, like really trying hard to be subversive, like the Undertale kind of joke where you're like, wow, you really got me there by saying opposite of the trope yet still participating in the trope. You're not doing anything. Fuck you, Undertale. You suck. Anyway, it's just like it's just the jokes aren't good, and the fact that they were like, oh, you probably didn't expect Dwayne Johnson to be an ancient conquistador. Like, no, I didn't expect Dwayne Johnson to be Spanish. Sorry. I thought I didn't think you would turn your like only main character of color and be like Spanish. It's just weird. Like, it just sucks. Why'd you diagnose him with Spanish? Yeah, and then they have like the natives are, for the most part, like they try to not be as awful as like Indiana Jones, but like
oh, congratulations.
Exactly.
Wow,
it's like, wow, you didn't call them any slurs.
They managed.
Oh, you had them like be bewildered by golf clubs. Okay, yeah. Like, it's just they had like the natives like very much, even like the clearly adult characters that were like indigenous people, they had them behave like children at times when presented with Western information.
Gross.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
no, it's just bad.
How could anyone
they had them
possibly
be like,
know about Western things?
And they're like, but the chief of the tribe was a woman. And then you're like, yeah, a woman that was participating in a scam and then was really only interested in money. And also, like, there's a point where they're like, give us back the sacred artifact. Haha, just joking. They're like, yeah, no, this was stolen from our tribe 500 years ago and taken to England. Nah, you can have it, though, stranger lady who is here to take the stuff from the land. Because you want to do it because you love doctoring.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
It's just, there's so many stupid things that people decide to do, right? And every now and then I'm like, nah, surely we've hit the peak of like, this blows. Surely we've hit the point where we can all agree this was a bad idea. But we haven't.
Never. Yeah, no, Disney's Jungle Cruise is like just one of the worst, I would say the worst movie I've ever seen because of the fact that like, I've seen movies that are worse, but are like indie movies, and I don't really hold them to the same standard of like, yeah, like, oh yeah, you had $75 to make this movie. It's not that good. Yeah. You're Disney. Why would you make the movie off of your like racist ride and then just be like, yep, hey, but this time the character that was panned for being racist is let me check my notes. Played by a woman instead. We fixed it.
Well, yeah, don't you know racism and sexism, same thing. People have problems.
They ended both. Thanks, Disney's Jungle Cruise.
Thank Mr. Disney Jungle Cruise.
Thank Disney Jungle Cruise, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's
Do we have
my
something
review.
less like depressing to talk about?
Afterwards, I watched the Escape Room sequel.
Wait, Nina has something to say, I think.
I overheard you guys earlier talking about Dwayne and the Conquistadors, and I was like,
No, Dwayne is a conquistador.
Dwayne's a conquistador?
Yeah.
Movie.
Jackson says it is hands down the worst thing he has ever watched in his life.
That's saying something.
Not because it's the worst actual media he's ever seen put out, but because he's holding them to like a standard of bare level goodness because it's Disney and they have the money to do it.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, no, his opinion is this is the worst movie he has ever seen.
Dwayne is the last actor I would cast as a conquistador.
Why? Because he's not
Yeah.
Spanish?
He's not,
Especially because like they took their only lead
like,
character of color and made him
Yeah.
a Spanish conquistador.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, we have one minority character here that's not one of the natives. Conquistador. No, it's bad. is bad.
That's extremely rough.
Anyway, 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
Nice.
Well, no, here's the question now. Have you seen Cruella yet?
I have not.
Dan, based on Jackson's review, Cruella, better or not?
I'm gonna say Cruella's almost definitely better than that. I don't think that's even a hot take.
I think saying almost definitely better is insulting.
It's telling. No, it's telling.
Oh, it's just
Disney's Jungle Cruise. Don't watch it. You pretty much got all the information you need from here.
I saw
John Disney.
some previews for it, and I saw them like jumping waterfalls in a boat.
I honestly saw it. And I
Yeah,
thought
it
it was
was
just
pretty
going to be
cool.
I thought it was just going to be a ripoff of Jumanji, and I was like, you know what? Fuck you, Disney. But also, that's fine. Whatever.
No, it was a ripoff of every one of those adventure, like all those like really fucking like deeply seated like racist like white man's burden movies where it's just like, I was back at Cambridge and they said there's no way a woman can go on the adventure to kill all the natives, but I showed them. I did it. I went and I colonized the indigenous people and took their sacred relics. Sorry, Cambridge didn't think you could, but I'm not really proud of you.
What? You're
Like-
not?
It just sucks. I'm just so like over it. I guess like I'm just so unimpressed
It's
by.
just, I wonder what Nina had to say before she realized that Dwayne was a conquistador.
Yeah, I think the realization that they were like, and then they tried to play it as like a plot twist. You're like, yeah, no, I didn't expect the only lead actor of color to be a conquistador. Yeah, no, I didn't expect it. So, foolish me.
Plot twist.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, still shame on you for making this movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's like fool me as many times as you want. This movie sucks ass, and you're not
That's
gonna
how
change
that's
that
how the
with a-
phrase goes, as we all know.
Fool me once, can't fool me again.
That's the rules.
Thank you,
Rules say
George.
no more fooling.
We got a saying in Tennessee, or at least it's in Texas. I'm pretty sure it's in Tennessee. It goes, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you can't fool me again.
Man,
At least I'm pretty sure it's in Tennessee.
it's one of the best interviews I've ever heard.
It's just true. Fool me twice, can't fool me again.
The Who made a
good.
song
You
about
really?
that.
Who made a song about that?
The Who.
The Who.
The Who. Yeah.
You're a big
Isn't it The Who?
fan?
Shut up, Dan.
Only as an indirect object.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a big fan of The Who, but I used to listen to the Greatest Hits album.
I'm not the
I
biggest
won't
fan of
brag.
the Who, but like I said, I am a huge fan of the Who.
Shut
Yeah,
up,
I'm
Dan.
not the world's biggest fan of the Who, but
I have
Maybe
seen
you've
every
seen the
one of their
show?
I've been to
Yeah.
I had been to every concert that they had before. You
well,
know,
I mean, you may like the Who, but do you know of the Doctor?
thank you. That was the other direction that joke could have gone in. Yeah, we got there. Thanks, Jackson.
Fucking awful.
Doctor Who. Doctor Who, everybody. I would rather watch Doctor Who than Disney's Jungle Cruise.
I mean, to be fair, some Doctor Who is fine. It's more the fans that are the problem.
No, the show's kind of ass too, but
I'm not going to back
Just
you on that one.
depending-
It depends. It very much depends on which episode and who's writing it. Because it you know what it is? The show has a wide scale of awful to not awful.
Was it
Like,
Moffat?
some of it's-
It sucked.
I mean, yeah, pretty
I'm
much.
sorry. Was it Moffat after the first season he wrote?
There it is. Thank you. Because I was gonna say first season Moffat wasn't the first season Moffat Weeping Angels
who the
because that was
fuck
great.
Moffat.
Stephen
fuck is
Moffat.
Moffat?
He's the one that tanked every British property that you've ever loved, which is a
I've
really
never loved a
unpopular
British
opinion.
property.
No, it's true.
Nina-
It's a fact. He
Nina
sucks.
got hate brigaded on Tumblr once because she blogged that Stephen Moffat was a toad,
No, he is
and
100%
all the
accurate.
Whovians
How
got
could-
mad at her.
How
No.
could you blog about Moffat as a toad?
I'm pretty sure literally one of the only good episodes he wrote was for Blink. Like I literally can't think of any other episode. I'm like, damn, that episode was great.
More like Ford Blink.
Let's see.
Oh, I don't know what we're talking about anymore.
Ford. Reliable American auto manufacturer.
No, he wrote Tintin.
You think I've seen Tintin?
The movie wasn't bad.
You can look me in the eyes and tell me you think I'm the kind of person who's seen
The
Tintin.
movie wasn't that bad. I'm not gonna give that movie too much shit.
I just haven't seen it. The second movie that was on for the night was Escape Room.
Oh,
2.
Oh, how was Escape Room?
The one
2?
that Nina's scared to see.
Yeah, I mean,
that guy really does look like me.
He does, doesn't he? Just enough.
Yeah.
Just enough.
At first I was like, you know, I've been told that before. But then I looked at the actor, I was like, in the movie, I was like, he really does look like me. I think it's when he talks, he moves his face and mouth in the same way I do, and it is kind of jarring.
Oh,
it's kind of weird.
I don't like that.
Yeah, like as someone who's seen myself plenty of times, I didn't really like it either. It was kind of uncomfortable. Because obviously I hadn't seen the first Escape Room movie, and the 3 people I went with hadn't seen the first Escape Room movie either. So of course I watched the, I think it was like the Dead Meat video on it before, because I was like, I haven't seen the first one, but I'm about to see the second, so I might as well get the synopsis real quick.
It's a decent way to get caught up on the deets.
Yeah, and I went with my girlfriend and her parents, and so instead of being like, I watched like a 20-minute synopsis on YouTube of it, because I was like, her parents are older, and I was like, I don't really want to try and like get into like that being a thing, because like I'll just be like, I watched the first one.
Yeah,
just easier.
It's simpler to just lie and say I watched the first one. It
threw me into the worst gauntlet imaginable during the movie, because I was constantly like bombarded with questions. Also, it sucks that the second movie opens with a 10-minute recap of the first, so I didn't have to watch the video, but here we are. It's just bad. It's just more of what they do in the first movie, but done worse, I think. But you know,
as someone who hasn't actually watched the first movie, it just didn't look as good as the video.
Yeah, precisely. And it just was like a little bit of but what if the whole world was the escape room? You're like, huh? And they're like, oh, you think you're out of the escape room, but actually this is still the escape room. And they did that like 7 times, and I was like, I'm kind of sick of this gag.
And then
it was kind of trippy.
It turned out you were in the escape room.
It turned out the real escape room was the friends we made along the way.
And Nina was right to be afraid.
Once you watch it, you're in the escape room now. We're all escape room now.
Damn.
And God blessed us, every escape room.
So that movie was way better than Jungle Cruise, but it still sucked ass.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's not a good thing. It's not like a lot high praise, but it is still at least better.
Yeah. It's better than the worst movie I've ever seen.
I'm glad. I'm glad that you got to see something better than the worst movie you've ever seen. Imagine if you'd gone to see it and it was just worse somehow.
That would be the worst case scenario. So I'm like, man, this Jungle Cruise movie is the worst movie I've ever seen. And then the next movie that comes on is just worse.
I
saw a Jungle Cruise ad on my Facebook literally seconds after you messaged the chat saying, yeah, Jungle Cruise may be the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life. And I saw an ad pop up. And there were people that were like, this is one of my favorite Disney movies ever. And I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah, it was one of those things where the whole time I was watching the movie, like, and afterwards, all the people like got up and they were like, wow, I loved Jungle Cruise. I'm like, you loved Jungle Cruise?
How?
What the fuck's wrong with you?
I don't like that.
Yeah, there was a lot of people who were like, that was real good. No, it wasn't. Don't lie.
I really don't understand people that are so committed to the Disney brand that they won't criticize the property even when it's terrible. You know?
Yeah, it was definitely like a more for kids, but it was still very much like that adventure movie that's just, they need to go. Like, they need to stop being a thing that we keep making where it's like, yes, the white hero here to end the suffering of the indigenous people by taking their natural resources.
Yeah, I kind of thought we had moved on from that as a primary concept.
Yeah.
That's on you for thinking that, TBH.
Say again?
I said, that's on you for thinking that, TBH.
Well, that's the thing, is I haven't seen a movie like that in a really long time.
That's fair.
I did see one. The most recent I saw was The Lost City of Z. Couple years back, and I don't remember it being great, but I remember it being like, this is fine.
See, because
that one didn't end.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, spoiler alert for The Lost City of Z, in case you're really from like 2010 or whatever. It's one of those where it was like, instead of being like, I'm here to take from the natives, he was like, I'm here to integrate myself with this culture. You're like, you know what? That's better.
And
then it kind of ended with like, I'm just gonna assimilate instead of going back and giving this kind of information to people who don't need it. I'm just going to become part of your guys' culture. And I'm like, you know what? Better ending than going back to London to come back with a whole bunch of guns and take it away.
Yeah.
Which is usually how those kind of movies end.
Mm-hmm.
I had something I was going to talk about.
Also, Jungle Cruise is a coward because in the scene where the one character comes out, Dwayne Johnson's character is like, the guy says like, oh my, he doesn't ever say that he is gay, but he says my interests lie elsewhere. And then The Rock like he cheers him and says like to elsewhere. And the movie's cowards for not making him get with Dwayne at the end.
Woo!
Because for a second I was like, oh, do Dwayne Johnson's interests lie elsewhere too? Is that going to be like kind of a little subversion at the end? Of course not. He gets with the main girl.
Well, yeah.
And they go back to England and live happily ever after.
Ooh. I'm not
Yeah,
surprised.
that's what I said. I was like, come on.
Ooh.
Get with the brother character. He was more fun anyway. And he instead of finding a love interest, he gets a cat. So
That is,
Okay, that's
You know,
really funny.
I'm
That's
not
really
even
funny.
remotely surprised because it's like, yeah,
for a long
no,
time,
they
I
would.
definitely felt that. But
It's really funny. Same thing, obviously.
yeah, it's a good ending.
Good ending because the movie was over. Is that?
Yep. Anything that brought that to a close was the best possible scenario.
Good ending. Well, ending.
And that's good enough for me. At that point, I was just... Also, at that point, the realization that there was still an entire other movie to watch when I was in the kind of emotional duress that one gets put in when they watch Disney's Jungle Cruise.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty alarming, to come to terms with.
Oh, for sure.
I can understand. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Truly.
Me too.
Never
you know,
mind.
I made
Noah
it.
said he was. I'm not sorry. Sorry, I got to be anti-Noah, as we know.
Oh, okay.
That's the take I'm going with today. Apparently.
That's weird.
Yeah. Well, it'll be the first time I've had weird takes.
Wouldn't it be? It's not.
Dan's
just
never had a
said
weird
no.
thing before.
I said no. Wouldn't be the first time.
We could probably talk about something other than Disney's Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, I had something to talk about and I lost it and I don't know where it went.
Was it the fact that you were out of town for a week?
I could definitely talk about that actually, because I was out of town for a week. I was in ye old Seattle.
Oh, yes, the Wild West.
Yeah. Right near Oregon, Oregon Trail.
I'm familiar with Oregon, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's right below us. I don't
Oh, us? Oh, you're a
I've assimilated.
Seattleite now. Oh, just like the lost city of Z.
Exactly. But yeah, we went. It was a really good time. I very much enjoy going out there. It's gorgeous. And we managed to fly in at sundown on the correct side of the plane to look out the window and see Mount Rainier lit up by the sunset. So that was actually
That's
really
pretty
cool.
nice. That's a good arrival, It's a good omen.
I would think so. And the visit was a good time. I have.
What was your favorite part of the visit?
Well, shoot, I'm feeling very put on the spot. And you know how sometimes when someone puts you on the spot with like a question that should be really easy, suddenly you can never think of a good thing to answer? And it's as if
No.
the entire visit was bad.
I think that's actually a little bit unfair because I will say I think it's a pretty hard question, honestly.
I mean, I would agree it's a pretty hard question. It was fun though. We had a really enjoyable time and I'm looking forward to heading back out again. And I think honestly, and I think the reason that I don't want to say this is I don't want my in-laws to listen to this and be like, really? But honestly, my favorite part of visiting out there is always the food. There's just
Really?
a lot of
That's
food options out there.
That's a good answer, though.
I mean, food is
Um,
always the most important part of anywhere. Don't at me.
Our first meal, my father-in-law had a massive slab of salmon that he smoked.
hot.
It was so good.
I'll say it. Smoked food is always worse than not smoked food. It sucks.
I disagree.
That's a bold take. I don't know if I'm going to back you on that.
What's a food that's better smoked?
Salmon.
Salmon.
Wrong. You ever had like grilled salmon? Way better.
Yeah,
This was
definitely,
grilled
but
smoked salmon. It
yeah,
was
you
both.
smoke it for.
Yeah, but the smoke just adds like, oh boy, God, do I love to lick a campfire?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Sometimes you just want to lick a campfire, dude.
See,
I don't.
But you got to have the right smoke because there are people that do it really poorly, and it's just like it's all shitty smoke. Which I can already hear you say, yeah, that's all smoke. But it's
I've
not.
had some apple and hickory smoke before. I just think I'd just rather not have the smoke.
All right, I disagree, but to each their own.
I'm right.
You are. I don't know
Thank
why I
you.
thought otherwise.
You know what? I think you might be right, Noah.
No, I don't actually like care that much. I just,
No, I'm a big fan of smoked things. I've been that's actually something that I've been doing an awful lot with my grilling endeavors, is trying to do everything I can to make my charcoal grill into actually just a smoker. I'm not doing anything other than put food in before it's fully heated up so everything's smoky, but it's been working quite well. I don't know. I have fun with that stuff. Anyway, we had smoked salmon. That was delicious. That we went to a really good ramen place. Could not possibly recommend it more. And there were a lot
I
more
don't think I'll be
breweries
checking
that
it out.
opened up over the course of 2020. So we visited like 4 or 5 different places, and that was also fantastic.
That sounds fun.
We also visited the San Juan Islands, which I've never been to an actual like ocean island before. I've only ever been to
really?
an island on the lake. Yeah. And I don't know if I need to tell you this, Dan, but Ocean Island better than Lake Island?
Fact. Yeah, not literally, not even
honestly,
a little.
I don't know that I agree.
Ooh, Jackson.
I think lakes are just cooler.
I don't like that.
Why?
Because I thought we were cool, and now I'm thinking that maybe we're not.
Wait, what's so much better about an ocean island?
They're on the ocean. Ocean better
honestly,
than lake.
I loved the ocean air. The ocean air
Yeah,
was
ocean
a
air is
huge
better.
plus for me.
Ocean waves are better.
Well, yeah, but that's just like the beach. That doesn't have anything to do with the island.
Islands.
I'd rather be an
islands
ocean
are
beach than a lake beach.
Islands are cooler than than beaches, rather.
Sometimes.
Okay, I'll give you. Not all islands are better, but I'm gonna take a guess and say that the kind that Noah is talking about is better. The nice. I don't know, dude. I
just think kayaking out to like a nice little lake island and just setting up a little fire.
See,
I think that's.
We're having very different thoughts here, because you're talking about like that type of thing, and that sounds very pleasant and enjoyable. But I have also never smelled the ocean before. Like I've been to the beach in Jersey once, but like,
Oh, sorry to hear about that.
I know,
yeah,
right?
I'm sorry that was your experience.
Well, that's the thing, is like that is my only real experience with beaches of the non-lake variety. And I was on a ferry, and that was a blast. I don't know. It was all in all that stuff, a blast. So much fun.
I mean, I just think that's the ocean, though. Like, I don't know that that's the island.
No, you're probably right. But also, in the morning, my father-in-law was out on the beach digging up clams, and we ate those for dinner. And that was cool.
Clams
I
are
can't
very
do that
good.
at the beach in a
Yeah,
lake.
you can. What are you talking about? There's so many mussels. It's literally like a pandemic of mussels.
Forgive
I
me
just,
for
like,
not
throw a line
trusting
out,
lake
catch a
That's the
Jersey.
term that they use to talk about how that's like the group. When you have all
They're
those fun like
invasive.
groups, the group names.
They're
It's a
invasive.
pandemic of mussels.
Yeah, just you cast out a line, get a perch.
There's a lot of stuff that I wouldn't trust about Lake Erie. Mussels are one of them. I will trust Lake Erie fish, though.
As you should.
Lake Erie fish doesn't scare me too much.
Like, your fish is good.
I wouldn't, but that's
Because
more of a
you're
me
a
thing than
cow.
anything else. Yes, I also don't trust anything in Lake Erie ever. So
Honestly, I think that's a pretty reasonable take, because up until very recent years, it has been a rather toxic lake.
yeah, I only associate it with being toxic. Almost as toxic as Erie itself. Got him.
Ooh.
Yes.
Dan hates fun.
Ooh,
Ooh.
Well,
Ooh.
I don't know how you got that out of that, but sure, yeah, let's go with that.
Is that not what it was?
Everybody get him.
You're right. I hate fun, and I also hate Noah. So,
The truth
We
comes out.
got him to admit it, y'all. We got him to finally.
ladies
Finally,
and gentlemen,
Dan
we
admits
got
it.
him. The big secret that we've all known.
You probably love your mother-in-law. Oh
Uh,
my god, he admitted.
I don't know.
Oh my god, he admitted.
Listen, man, I just feel like sometimes Sometimes you
Said
say
we could
things and
swear.
I don't know how to react to them.
You said we could swear.
Oh,
So can
that's
we
what's
swear
going
or
on here.
not?
That's what's going on here. Okay, got it.
Can I swear or not?
It's
a simple
like- it's
question. I
like-
just want to know.
Listening to people quote Rick and Morty is what it's at this
Oh
point.
no! Don't say that.
No, it's not.
That's how it feels from the outside.
Nah.
It feels
It's
the
not
same
that
level
bad.
of constant referential.
I would say it's a lot more similar to people that always quote The Office.
That's not
I would say
okay.
it's kind of like Rick and Morty, but instead of being Rick and Morty, it's funny.
sure. Let's go with The Office then. That's definitely better.
didn't-
No, you're right.
I think The Office is definitely better than Rick and
Oh,
Morty.
absolutely. But the people who quote The Office are just as bad as the people who nonstop quote Rick and Morty.
People who quote The Office are kind of, The Office kind of. The Office people? Everyone knows
No,
The
yeah,
Office.
no, we all know The Office people.
They're like, oh boy, can't wait to consume one media.
One
I
media.
mean, that is.
Oh boy.
I'll have a media today. Ooh, a little bit of The Office. I don't mind.
What a treat. I get The Office. I mean, I can't really talk because that was my go-to show for a very long time.
No, I love The Office. It's a great show.
I
I just,
mind The Office.
yeah, I think it's fun.
I don't personally like it, but I don't mind people who like it. I do mind people who quote it nonstop.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's very
they,
reasonable.
they need to knock that off.
People quoting things canceled.
I'm glad
No,
that
people
you're-
quoting The Office canceled.
You know what? That's true.
Well, it's just like I feel like there's not as much like the quotes don't give you as I think you should leave quotes are a lot of fun because they really give you like that I guess it's just like you get a lot of expression that you can do through them. Like there's a lot of excitement, a lot of inflection to be had.
As
I
opposed
mean, I don't
to
think that's
saying,
unreasonable.
who put my stapler in Jello? Looks around the room.
That's funny.
Thanks.
That's funny. Because the stapler shouldn't be in Jello.
I'm glad that you know
Oh.
because some people
I
they
think a
say
lot
that,
of people
like the stapler's supposed to be Jello, and I mean,
yeah, that's not true.
you and me, we know the stapler doesn't belong in Jello. Know what I'm saying? Dan knows.
I just
what I'm
think
saying.
overall,
Maybe I just don't
Uh,
like you guys. Maybe that's what it is.
do you not like that or do you just not like me?
Dan, are you on TikTok
Listen,
yet?
I am on TikTok, not extensively, because I keep trying
What?
to go onto it and then I keep hating the platform.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. But what's your? Is it the Born to Rule so that I can follow you
I'll-
and send you things?
I mean, yeah,
Yeah, why
almost
do you hate the
definitely that's what it
platform?
is. Hold on, let's see. Are we gonna TikTok docs me? TikToks me?
yeah.
No.
Yeah, I didn't like how long it took
Found
me
you.
to get there either. Yep, that's
Yep, found you.
I can tell because you just started following me.
Yep.
You can.
Oh, and
TikTok's
Sam,
fun.
how did Sam follow me? I don't like that. That
Maybe
makes
you
me
were
uncomfortable.
suggested.
That's almost definitely what happened. I hate that. I don't like that at all. All right, well,
Dan, are you excited for me to send you TikToks?
yes, actually, I would much
Yeah.
rather consume TikToks that people send me than actually have to go sifting through it to find stuff myself. I understand
yeah, no,
that a
the
lot of
first
it is
week
just
is pretty
dealing
rough.
through
I'm not
the
gonna lie to you.
dealing with the algorithm, but like I just don't have the patience to wander through the algorithm. I just don't.
No, it's the first week of trying to get through the algorithm is just god awful. And then after that, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. You're a TikTok communist and you love what was it, Saudi Arabia? Is that where you're getting videos from?
Maybe.
Me?
Jackson?
No, there was just it was I believe a Turkish ad
Okay.
for a restaurant that had 0 likes, 0 interactions that just showed up on my feed and it was just silent.
That's so weird.
It was so cool.
I got a few of those for t-shirts once.
That's cool.
And it was clearly an ad, but it wasn't marked as one, so I tried to report it as like an ad that was breaking, the law. And they're like,
Wow.
this doesn't go against the law, actually, so we have to keep it on your page. And I'm like, no. Why would you do me
no,
like
kind of
that?
a snitch for that one.
I am kind of a snitch for that one, but it was also really terribly put together. It wasn't good.
Wow.
If that makes me a snitch,
Not
then I'm
only are you a snitch, but you're a hater.
I am a hater. Drinking that haterade. as the kids say. The kids say that.
Ooh.
Why are you?
I miss when we were
I'm
talking about
right.
Jungle Cruise. Anybody else miss when we were talking about Jungle Cruise?
No.
Yeah, fair enough. There's been a lot of movie talks coming out lately. I've been in the movie state of mind, Empire State of Mind.
I really need to get out and watch some more movies. I just haven't made the time to.
Same.
I think the drive-in is a good option. I think it was fun.
It's a twofer, and that's always fun. Except the issue is
it's also $8.
that's true.
$8 for 2 movies that sucked.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Yeah, that was-
I would have paid $8 to not have to know how bad Jungle Cruise really was.
$8 to forget.
What a
$8
small
but you
price
can
to
never
pay.
forget.
But yeah, my issue is Nina works on Saturday mornings, so going out to a drive-in on Friday night does not usually
go by yourself.
work out. I don't want to go to a drive-in alone.
I'll go to drive-in with you.
There we go.
Look at that! You guys figured it out.
We did it. You guys don't want to know what I recently acquired?
What did you recently acquire?
I bought an espresso machine.
Oh,
Ooh.
I fucking love espresso.
It's a camping espresso machine. So it's manually powered.
Oh, is that the one that like you kind of rest your hand on the top and it won't let you push too hard, so you get like the perfect espresso?
No, this one you pump it. There's a pump.
Uh-huh.
And it builds up pressure in a vacuum chamber, and then it like squirts out espresso when it's ready. In little spurts. It's pretty cool. And it's way cheaper than a similarly able espresso machine that would be automatic. Because if you ever buy like an espresso machine from like Walmart, it's gonna suck. Or
True.
Target, it's gonna suck. Or if you buy an espresso machine for less than $1,000, it's probably gonna suck ass.
Mm-hmm. That's unfortunately true.
Unless you buy something that is not a full machine. Like this was like $100, and it was definitely well worth it, just because it does make that like 18 bar pressure espresso, which is what you look for in like a professional quality. Is like that's the amount of pressure you want to be able to produce.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas any kind of machine that's doing that with hydraulics and boiling the water and has a steam wand is just not going to be able to do it at that price point.
Yeah.
But this doesn't have a steam wand. It doesn't boil its own water. You just pour hot water in and some grinds, and then you start pumping.
I love that.
And it works well.
pumping, dude.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's called the Nano Presso
I'll take it back. I don't like it anymore.
by a company from Hong Kong called Wakako.
Nanopresso Wakako. Oh, I've seen this. Yeah. Oh, duh. You sent me a picture of it. That's right.
I probably did, yeah. It's real sick. It works really well. It does what it's supposed to do, and that's what I bought it for. So
I like
End
how
of the
if
day,
you
that's all you can
buy
ask
the
for.
plain black one, it's $70. But if you buy the red one, it's $85.
oh, the red one comes with a carrying case, though.
Oh,
What
no,
are you
that's not
carrying your espresso machine around for?
It's a camping
Camping.
espresso machine.
Oh.
It's portable. It's like a hand. You can hold it. It's like very much like pocket size.
They're all the fun colored ones that don't come with a case sold out.
Yeah,
Half the fun
I
case
just
ones
got the
too,
black
that were
one.
special. Wow.
I just got the black one with a case, and then also the barista kit because you can only do a single shot at a time with the default one.
Mhm.
The expansion one to access the double. So obviously I did,
Mm-hmm.
and it's made some of the best espresso I've ever had. Makes a really good like iced latte. I'll just do like a double shot of that with some brown sugar and like mix it up, and then just shake the container of milk before you pour it, and then pour out the aerated milk, and it works out wonderfully.
This just sounds so good. I hit coffee TikTok a lot, and I keep thinking, coffee. I remember loving espresso. And then while in Seattle, I ended up having I just had like a white mocha. And it was so good because it was actually like well done espresso shots in it. And it made me so angry that I can't get that at Starbucks because for whatever reason their espresso does not hit. And
I will agree.
I haven't found any other places in Erie that I've tried their espresso yet. So
I think Prest has the best espresso in Erie.
nice. Good to know.
Besides my house, obviously.
Well, I mean, obviously.
Obvi.
Prest is fantastic though. It's just a good place. Dan, this place is connected.
is
Have you been
indeed.
to Prest?
No clue what you're talking about. No.
I was
It's a
I was
bookstore.
99% sure it came around afterward. But yeah, it's a bookstore.
Hmm.
That has a coffee place attached, and it's so good. I've never been to the bookstore.
I do like that. Those are I feel like more common in larger cities. They're always nice.
Hmm. And definitely in like Seattle, where it's kind of like, you know,
Mhm.
it's like the espresso capital of the states anyway. Everyone knows Australia is the espresso capital of the world.
We all done been known.
They really are insane about espresso there.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought you were joking.
No, it's actual madness. Like Australians do not mess around with espresso.
This is Italian slander. The Italians invented everything, so check that.
Yeah, but nobody likes the Italians, so
It's true.
Wait till this guy finds out about Marco Polo.
Wait till this guy finds out about Marco
Man,
Polo.
I love that Marco Polo was a real person, literally, because my only association with the name is the game. And every now and then I'm reminded that he was like a guy, and I'm like, he was named after a game. Even though I know
He
I
that's
was
not true.
actually, yeah.
I don't know how I feel about the fact that your first association is the game.
That's normal.
Really?
I interacted with the
Yeah.
game Marco Polo so much more than I've ever interacted with.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know
I mean,
what? I think this
any
is kind of-
7-year-old in the pool knows Marco Polo better than they know the Portuguese like man who went to China and brought back a whole bunch of like cool stuff that the Italians co-opted.
You know what? I'm starting to think this is another one of those Dan didn't have any friends growing up situations.
I played Marco Polo. Pretty exciting. I mean, it's like a pool time classic. You're in the pool.
It is
you're
definitely a
under the age
full-time
of
classic.
15.
I just can't. I just didn't play it that much. Like I don't know. It happened every now and again, but not often.
It was definitely a happening, for sure. Like a Mark Wahlberg movie. That's right, everybody. I just referenced Mark Wahlberg's hit film, The Happening. Maybe you've heard of it.
I remember a lot of people hating The Happening. I thought it was fine.
It's because they were not, in fact, happening.
I just think isn't it an M. Night Shyamalan movie?
It is.
Isn't he back in the spotlight again for making another movie with like a twist that everyone is mad at?
I mean,
that does
it's,
sound
I
like
don't
him.
think it's the twist that people are mad at, because from what I know, the twist is actually kind of decent. A lot of people are frustrated that the main focus of his film is mentally ill characters, though, and not really done in a
Again?
sensitive way. Yeah.
Yeah.
God,
I'm not going to spoil
Damn it,
Old
man.
because I know a lot of people that actually would like to watch it, and it is still very new. Unlike Jungle Cruise, which is like, I literally couldn't give less of a shit about that. I feel like
and I'll spoil the fuck out of Jungle Cruise.
exactly, but I feel like some people might want to watch Old, and I'm not going to like be mad at anyone who wants to watch Old. I kind of want to watch it. It's a stupid name, but you know.
I mean, is it? Because it sounds like the beach that makes you old.
see, but
It-
there's better ways. If you're gonna make a movie about a beach that makes you old, I wouldn't call it
oh,
old.
you know what? I know this movie. I remember this. I remember hearing about this.
Yeah, we probably talked about it on the podcast last
I
week,
think we
but I
did.
don't remember. But
I think
yeah,
we did, in fact, talk about it.
a little film
It's-
called Old.
you know, it's like, oh, The Village, mentally ill antagonist. Oh, Split, there's another mentally ill antagonist. I don't know. It's too much
It's
of a
never-
trend for him.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
like
very
that.
uncomfortable.
And it's honestly, it wasn't something I noticed until I think Rob tweeted about it like a week or so ago, and he's like, "Oh yay,
Rob?
another M. Night Shyamalan doing this," and I'm like, "Is that a thing he does?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, it really is."
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no! It is.
It really is, and it's pretty bad. Especially like anytime a movie does anything where like the kicker is like, and then the person that does everything evil has schizophrenia, because if you have schizophrenia, you're inherently a bad person who will hurt everyone around you, and you're a psychopath.
Yeah, that is really
Like-
how it always comes across.
Like
Unfortunately,
schizophrenia needs to not be the joke of Hollywood. It needs to not just be like, give
Well,
them
it's-
schizophrenia. That makes people crazy and attack everyone and kill people.
It's like when they do people having sociopathy or psychopathy. Like it's the same exact thing. Like they don't look at anything about what that actually entails or means or how that actually interacts in the world. It just is it just means they're very smart and can manipulate people Is I feel like how it is always portrayed.
Yeah.
Portrayed.
Although the thing about like psychopathy is it kind of is like, for that one in particular, it is a criminal disorder. Like it's a
It isn't
it does
necessarily.
have a
It just has it is commonly associated with criminals, yes, but it isn't necessarily. It is, you can be diagnosed and still be high functioning and non-criminal.
maybe I was misinformed then, but I was.
It is commonly associated with criminal actions, yes.
I thought the criminal actions were inherent with it because it's a disease. We're not a disease; it's a disorder that would affect more specifically your ability to see social rules and laws as things that apply
Yes,
to you.
but a lot of the time, but it can also manifest in ways that where you comprehend that you don't believe that they do apply to you necessarily, but you recognize the value in making the world. And this is all like some armchair psychology from 2 years ago, a psychology class where I focused on it. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I am an expert by any stretch of the imagination. Yada yada. Not a doctor.
Yeah, my understanding is that was like when you're a sociopath, that is something that you're able to.
They're the same thing.
Come to terms
They're the
with.
same
Whereas a
disorder.
psychopath is.
There's no difference.
Isn't one just like a borderline personality disorder and one's like full on?
They're both antisocial personality disorder.
Yeah, but there's a different like extremity and classification to them, isn't there?
I don't believe so. Not anymore. There may have once been, but much like ADHD ADHD is now ADD and ADHD are the same. It's the same disorder, same situation. Where it was once classified as multiple disorders, but has been kind of converted into a single thing under antisocial personality disorder.
That's interesting.
I used to be very fascinated by that sort of thing. I less so now because I don't have time to keep doing research on it. But armchair research. Really, truly, definitely research. But yeah, it's interesting. That's for sure.
Which shows it.
Are we good? Are we out of here?
We can wrap.
Should be.
No, do we?
Close
We don't
enough.
have any, and nobody reached out to us yet this month, right? Beginning of the month. Good.
Damn.
Wow.
I didn't want to say cursed things again.
Well, I mean, we're still going to give everyone ye old shout outs. Just because the call out tier hasn't gotten to us doesn't mean the shout out tier doesn't get shouted out all the same.
That's true.
Let me just log in and say hello to
Hi.
Yeah. Hello.
Oh,
Hi.
not to me.
let me just say hello to Bo and Edge and Rachel. Thank you very much, y'all. Fantastic. Wonderful people. Greatly appreciate the fact that you are helping us keep all this going. Means an awful lot. An awful lot.
True. Literally.
You guys want to hear a funny story about Bo Burnham that happened to me recently?
Oh no. Yes.
So Mari was like, I don't even know who Bo Burnham is. And I was like, oh, he's like a comedian dude. And then she was like, oh, let's see if I know what it looks like. So she looked it up. And then she was like, oh yeah, he looks like the guy from BTS.
Oh no.
I was like, I don't think he does. She meant Big Time Rush. But I was like, I don't think he does look like the guy from BTS.
That's very funny.
she meant BTR, but like, she said he looks like Kendall from Big Time Rush. But just instead of BTS saying BTS, just like kind of killed me a little bit because I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think he does.
I like that a lot.
Ooh.
Fantastic.
You guys, what a good episode.
Yeah,
I'm leaving.
fun.
Goodbye.
Okay, bye, Dan. You can follow our socials in the little doodly doo.
You guys like BTS?
That's the end.
No.
That's definitely where it
Yeah,
ends. Yep.
You don't like BTS?
I've
no?
actually never listened to